This is very simple. Allah created life as a test. And there is no human being that escapes other than being tested. Now, a lot of times what happens is we look at other people's lives and we think that they're not being tested. We say, wow, my life is so difficult, but this guy's making $50,000 more than me. He has no problems. He has no problems, right? This is human nature. Human nature is to look at the other person and always think that the grass is greener on the other side. I will tell you that there is no way that the grass is greener on the other side. First of all, I know that, having had enough experience living in this life and having enough people come and tell me their problems, that the millionaire has problems and the person who is at below the poverty level also has their own problems. Now, are the problems the same? No. The millionaire has problems that you would think that how could a person with so much wealth ever have problems? And they have the same number of problems as the person living at the poverty level. It's just the way Allah created life. You can't escape. It's not that when you earn a certain amount of money, you've escaped. Or that when you have a certain number of friends, you've escaped. Or when you have a certain number of square feet in your home, you've escaped. So Allah creates varying tests, and they vary based on the amount that a person's been given. But everybody's being tested. So it's the foolish one that looks at another person's life and says, well, if I had that, I would do this. That doesn't make any sense. If you had that, you would have your own set of tests. And you might fail them miserably or you might succeed. It doesn't make a difference. Allah is not going to ask you what He gave you. You won't be asked, well, I gave you this, or I gave you this, or I gave you this, why was it? No, Allah gives you whatever He gives you. He will be asked how you used what He gave you. So if He gave you health, you'll be asked about how you used it. But if you weren't given health, you won't be asked why you didn't have health. If you had wealth, Allah will ask how you attained it and how you spent it. But if you don't have it, Allah won't ask you why you didn't have wealth. That won't be a question on the Day of Judgment, that your salary was 100,000, how come it wasn't 120? Answer up. That's not going to be a question on the Day of Judgment. So that's the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this life. And we should be very clear. We don't ever need to look at another person and ask why we're not that person. We're comfortable with whatever Allah made us, and we should recognize that every single person's in a test. The biggest mistake, in fact, the way you fail the test is to complain. And say, how come I don't have this? And how come I don't have that? How come my kids are like this? And how come my this is like that? How come my boss is like this? Those are all complaints. They don't get you anywhere. That nobody wins the game by complaining. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ asked for protection from the complaining tongue. That's the person who gets deceived. They start blaming the world for their circumstance rather than recognizing that their circumstance is an opportunity for them to convert the mundane into something much more special.
يا مالك الملك يا ذا الجلال والإكرام أنت المقسط أنت الجامع أنت